with my EMC that I published, but I knew I was missing a couple things, and then she showed me a bunch of other things I had missed too. So,
Oh, cool.
um,
Yeah.
but I still have one thing that I can't figure out, and she wasn't sure either how to do it. Um, I was trying to do something like Murray had done on his alt, what is it called? Uh,
Is
something
unlimited free leads
unlimited. Yeah, I think it was
course.
ultimate, but
Yeah.
unlimited free leads. Yeah, and I have that access to that still. So I was watching some of it again, and I know he did something in there, but I couldn't figure out quite how he did it, where he
Okay.
asked people to leave feedback
Okay.
and they were supposed to submit at least 50 words, and
Okay.
then he gave them access to a bonus.
Okay. I think I
When
know
I
what you're
look
talking
at
about.
when I look at the course template, it looks like they have access to the bonus as soon as they log in.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
it needs to have something different there.
Yeah. Yeah. I can show you how to set that up. Fantastic. Very cool. And Iris, since we were getting sidetracked into talking about all kinds of life things, tell me about what you want to talk about course-wise or XP-wise, if anything specific.
Yeah, there are so many things I have to kind of like consolidate myself and
Okay.
think more focused. So I would say like one question that's on top of my mind right now is I have created the 7-day challenge, so I got a feel for how pretty much the platform works.
Perfect.
What I'm not sure, and I haven't really like gone in and researched enough, so I'm just gonna put it out there. I know that you guys do Easter. There was something about Easter egg, like something that just pops up by surprise. Where would I find that and how can I set that up?
Okay, great, great. So let me answer that real quickly, and then we'll look at setting up a or setting up a what
Mhm,
Susan's asking and also look at setting this up. I think you're referring to like celebrations popping up, or when we say Easter eggs in general, I think it's generally
mhm.
talking about something surprising comes out of nowhere and shares something unexpected. So that could look
Right.
different ways as far as technically what we're talking about, but
Mhm,
a common thing that would be celebrations.
mhm,
So, for example, when a student at an unexpected time, so not every single
mhm,
action, but when a student completes a random action or a particularly challenging action, celebration
mhm,
pops up. That could be
mhm,
one
mhm.
example of an Easter egg. Does this
Okay.
feel like it's answering what you're talking about? Because I think,
Yes, it does. It does. I logically I could see that it was something like that. And I guess the this specific one and the overall question is, I recall that there seemed to be like quite dynamic ways to reward students. And
hmm
right
hmm
now I'm kind of stuck on the celebrations, basically
got
just
it,
like
got
get it
it.
done, right? You click get it done, and it's either an XP or an
Okay,
XXP, which I'm still not very clear on how the two are different. I mean, I know they're different,
gotcha.
but I don't know how to use them differently, right? Like how do I create using them differently to get the feeling of there's something different here? And then just basically celebrations, which is just, it's just me picking the right image and the right wording to say, wow, you've done it, congratulations, this and that. So I'm
Hmm
wondering, is there other
Is there
things?
more?
Are there other ways to use?
Yeah.
Like, is this it? And then there's just different ways to use it, or is there other things? Like, what is
Yeah.
all of the ways you can reward the student on the platform? And then, of course, the
Fantastic.
Easter egg is because I wanted to give a reward to the students who took the 7-day challenge.
hmm
And I wanted to have an Easter egg, so it pops up somewhere in between, and then that's my gift to them. I'm going to give them a gift for taking the course.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, that makes total sense. So I think the
I need to know
answer,
about this too, so thank you.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think these are the same. These questions are kind of one and the same, which is perfect. So let's
Mhm,
look at all of this. I think the answer to what are all the things you can do includes
mhm,
exactly what Susan was asking, which was Murray asked people to give feedback in a question. And as soon as
Mhm.
they did that, a bonus appeared.
Oh.
So that is another key thing I think we'd bring in, Iris, is
Mhm.
that besides the celebration on the screen, some
Mhm.
kind of new content reward award thing could appear.
Mhm.
And I'll show you a couple pretty quick and easy ways to do that. We could also have, what else do we have? There's badges that can be used to that will appear on a student's name. And of course, the thing with all of this is it may or may not apply depending on your courses and how you're setting everything up. But if you're using the forum or if students are commenting in any way or interacting with each other, then when they have a badge that will appear on their name, just like a little, highlight label. So a thing you could do that's very easy is give them a badge when they reach a certain level or complete a certain thing. And it's just a visual recognition
Mhm.
celebration thing.
Mhm.
But that gives it kind of that social, you know,
Right.
people seeing what you're doing aspect. So, big picture, those are some of the top things. So, besides the celebrations, we basically got you can give them new content in lots of ways. You can reward them with a badge. What else am I? Let's see, what else am I not thinking of? I mean, the content one is big because there's lots of different ways they could get content. It could literally pop up in a new block on their current page, which is what Susan was asking about, and I'll show you how to do. Obviously, something could trigger an email to them. It could trigger a text message to them. If you want to get fancier and more involved, you could have it trigger a webhook that goes to something outside, a tool outside of XP that is sending them a t-shirt or sending them a gift. So if you want to bring in like literal sending them swag, you can it can actually make an action trigger something to make that happen. You would need a tool outside the platform to do that. But basically, yeah, question about that?
Yeah, when you say webhook, because this is something I wanted to do. I wanted to send them a free gift that's
Mhm.
related to the work they're doing. But you said webhook, is that like an app or
Great.
because for
Yeah.
example, if I want to just order stuff from Amazon and send it to them, I would need
Okay.
their address. So I'm kind of thinking how to do that.
Right.
Should I ask them personally for their address? But then that wouldn't be a surprise anymore,
Well, as far
rather
as getting
than
the address, you can always collect the address when they enroll if you know you're gonna use it.
Mhm,
As far
mhm.
as the mechanism of how it happens, I'll take you to as much as I know of this, and there's going to be more than I know how to do here. I've never actually looked at setting up with Amazon. That's an interesting question, and I'd like to check it out myself because I'm curious now. But basically, what a webhook is it's just um, it's like how different tools talk to each other. It's like Zapier. Are you
Mhm.
familiar with Zapier
I keep
at all?
hearing about it. I'm kind of starting to frame it in my mind what it really is.
Okay, let me talk about Zapier because that's going to connect a lot of dots. It's actually a tool that connects two different platforms.
Mhm,
So,
mhm,
for example, if you weren't using XP's order form and Go Plus and you have Thrivecart that you really want to use for
mhm.
whatever reason, Zapier can do a thing where you program it, you create what's called a zap, and the Zap says when somebody purchases Iris's course in her Thrivecart system, that person should be automatically added to Iris's course in Xperiencify. So
Got
Zapier
it.
is the way that these two tools talk to each other.
Got it.
And now that I'm thinking about it, Zapier work with Amazon? Why not? I'm gonna have to check
Mhm.
that. I'm curious. But basically, there will be another app that does the job of automatically sending products to people, right? So
Okay.
there are companies and apps that do that, and you just need your course to talk to the app or the system that automatically sends products to people. And
Mhm,
Zapier
mhm,
or a webhook can do that. And then the way
mhm,
it
mhm.
looks is somebody clicks something, somebody does something in XP, something happens, which is in Zapier or in a webhook, boom,
Mhm.
automatically a thing goes and gets mailed to a person. Does that make
Got
sense?
it. Makes perfect sense.
So,
Okay. Right. So you said there's ways to offer them bonuses, badges, the webhook, which is a whole other schmeal deal, and
exactly.
and basically the celebrations, which you can trigger for whatever, either number of XPs, number of XXPs, or just completing
Mhm.
a mission or something.
Exactly. And to answer your question about the points, typically XPs are used as like required points. So if you
Hmm.
have a course that you want people to do all of this to complete it, like once they've done it,
Hmm.
they've done it. That would be XP actions. What we often
Hmm.
get is people at different levels coming in and doing things. And some people are going to
Right.
want to be the gold star students and do a bunch of extra credit. And so you can give them the satisfaction of, cool, I want to do more, do an XXP action. Technically, the major difference to know is that XPs require course completion. And really, the
Hmm.
only reason that's relevant or important to know is that if you are triggering an action based on course completion, that is defined as all XPs are completed. Does that make sense? I just
Uh,
saw
I-
Iris's brain glitch.
yeah,
Let me explain that
I'm
better.
like, "Tu, tu, 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 tu."
Let's go back to
Robot processing.
let's use your sending products example. Let's say you're going to send them a t-shirt when they
Uh-huh,
have completed the course. You
uh-huh.
can set up an action in Xperiencify, or I'm sorry, you can set up an automation in Xperiencify.
Mhm, mhm,
And
mhm,
all automations, as you know, have a trigger and an action.
mhm,
The trigger is going to be course completed. The action is going to be send a webhook to Iris's other tool and tell it to send the t-shirt.
mhm,
But since that trigger is course completion, what
mhm,
does that mean? It means
mhm.
they've completed all XP points in the course.
Got it, got it, got it, got it. Okay.
If they haven't completed XXPs, doesn't matter.
Okay, so that means that course completion can be one way can be number of XPs, and another way can be a particular action. Because, for example, in my trainings, I have three actions.
Mm-hmm.
One is just I watched the video. Two
Mm-hmm.
is I completed the mission. That is completing the actual training for me,
Mm-hmm.
meaning
Mm-hmm.
not I didn't just watch it, I took action upon it. And then there's
Totally.
a third action that I have, which is like extra points. They can watch
Mm-hmm.
they can do a video of tapping for extra, right?
Mm-hmm.
So perfect, makes sense. The XXP is for the extra credits. So if I have three actions, that means that they're getting different XPs. So in this case, for me, course completion would be when they actually complete the mission, which means only one action
Perfect.
out
Perfect.
of
Okay.
three.
Let me show you. I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly what the triggers look like because I think that'll make this
Mhm.
clearer. So I'll hop in that.
Okay.
And then from there, we'll go into looking at what Susan was asking about the bonus popping up because this is all
Yeah, I'd love to
very
see that
related.
too.
So So we've got the different pieces we're talking about here, right? We've got an automation in Xperiencify, and we're talking about one piece of that could be sending a webhook outside to something outside the platform. But when we're looking at an automation, let's look at exactly what that means. I'm going to go into a course, and in a course, I'm going to open up step 5. This is where all of my automations in XP will live. Okay. So I'm going to open that up and let's talk about the t-shirt example and I'll show you like 3 different ways we could set this up. So the basic structure is I'm going to create a new automation, and I have options for my starting trigger, and then we know the action is going to be webhook that tells something else to send the t-shirt. So my starting trigger could be, this is just one option, but it could be course completed. That always means all XP points are completed. So this is not the only way I can set up my automation, but if I use this right here, if I say course completed is my starting trigger, that always means students have completed, just think of it like this, they have completed all required actions, which is XP points. So let's look at it that way.
Just a very quick question. If there
Yeah.
are 3 actions in one training and you're only requiring 2 of them and the third one is extra, how does the system know that only 2 out of 3 are the required and 1 is the extra?
So there's a few different ways you could do that, and the simplest would be to just make the required ones XPs and the extra
Mhm.
one XXPs.
And that will automatically tell the system the XXP is not the required one. So if they
Exactly.
don't click it,
Yeah, by
mhm.
definition, XXPs are always non-required. That never
Okay,
changes. By
got it, got it,
definition,
got it.
XPs are always required. So I'm going to use, I'm just going to use a different example for my action here. I'm going to set up an SMS instead. But of course, we could make it send them a t-shirt, but I'm just going to say, congrats, first name, and send them a bunch of cool stuff. Okay, so right now, I don't have it turned on yet, but I've created my automation, and you'll notice that I labeled it right away so that it would be easy for me to track later. This is really, really important to keep yourself sane. So I gave my
Mhm.
experience a name. I know. And it's going to be for all students. We're not going to worry about getting more
Mhm.
complicated on this level right now. And the
Yeah.
action is send an SMS message. So again, my starting trigger at this moment, so my experience is called send a t-shirt. And my starting trigger right now is if course is completed, which again is always defined as all XP actions are done.
Mhm.
But if I want to do it a different way, if my course is set up in a way that is mostly optional things that they pick and choose, and I don't want it that strict, I could create a different trigger. For example, maybe there is maybe there's just one key action or training that they absolutely have to complete, or maybe it's the last training. Maybe I don't care if they do every single thing, but by the time they finish the last training, that's when I want it to be considered completed for the purpose of sending a t-shirt. I can make training completed the trigger for this automation and just select the very last training. Or I could say module completed, and I'm going to select probably the final module. In this course, I only have one. Or a third option is I could trigger this automation by tag added. And this is where the possibilities get limitless. So don't let it throw you into too much overthinking unless we need to. But I can make anything happen based on adding a tag. So let's give a simple example, and then we'll go to your questionnaires. Simple example, a particular action is what triggers things.
Right.
They get a tag. If I have 2 actions, And I can't do it with XPs and XXPs. And again, we don't need to get this complicated unless we really need to, but I can set up a series of automations that add a tag after they get the tags from the two actions.
Mhm.
So the takeaway here is anything can add tags, and that means anything can ultimately trigger an automation. It's just about there's going to be steps to set it up depending how complicated you want to get. But you don't need to get that complicated in most cases. So tell me what questions you have.
Okay, just a quick one so it's clear in my mind. I get the course completion means all XPs are done. I
Yeah.
get the training, you choose a particular training. I get the
Mhm.
module, but one clarification in the module. If I choose a module, and right now I have only one module, for example, if I choose a certain trigger completed module, does that also mean that all XPs that the student has to check off all of their required XPs? Is
In
that the
that
same?
module. Yeah. Module
Right.
completion means all trainings in that module are completed.
All trainings, which means all required actions
Yeah,
equal XPs.
exactly.
Right, right, right.
XPs are always required. Yeah. End of story.
Right, 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 right. And just the final thought on tags. So when you starting trigger tag added, I think I don't have quite clarity yet on how you add tags automatically. Right now, the
Mm,
system is doing something really weird, which is adding two tags with the same exact name, but there's one difference. One has workshop with a uppercase W, the other one has workshop with a lowercase w, but it's
mm.
adding two tags for every training that's completed. So
Okay.
if this is too complicated, let's move on to Susan, and then we can come back to it because now I'm going on a rabbit hole, but I want to understand how you add tags automatically. I know how to add them
Totally.
manually.
Totally, totally. Let me give you the simple answer is that you can add a tag when a student completes a particular action. In fact, do you know how to do that, Iris?
I think so because I'm using a template, the challenge, the 10-day challenge template. Um, so far, I'm just kind of learning how the system is doing it. I haven't set it up myself.
Okay. Let
So
me
in this point, I'm a little blurry.
Okay, we'll look at that really quick and then we'll go to revealing content. But also while we're here in the automation section, I'm going to tell you or show you to the answer to how you can add a tag. Another thing to be aware of is that adding a tag can also be the result of an automation, not just a trigger. So what that means is maybe when they get 20 points, I want them to get a tag. So I just made my action here be if user earns 20 points. I'm sorry, I made my trigger be, and my action is going to be add a tag.
Mhm.
So the answer to your question is it's pretty close to unlimited how you can add tags as well, because you give it a trigger. They started a training, they finished a training, they uh, got a bunch of points.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
And the outcome is they get the tag that you want.
Got it.
And then you would set up a brand new automation. It's not going to be continuing, it's going to be a brand new automation that says when they get the tag of 20 points, what happens? You send them a t-shirt.
Okay. I see.
Rachel, is that one of those things that you'd consider an Easter egg too, when it just after they've gotten 20 points, suddenly they get this celebration on the screen or something like that, that
For
for
sure.
no noticeable reason, suddenly they're getting that. Yeah.
For sure. 20 points, surprise, you're doing it. And keep a lookout for your surprise package. Yeah, definitely.
So the mechanism is the same as every other celebration. It's just the content of the celebration, meaning it could just be like, well done, keep going, or it could be, yay, you won something, Easter egg, right?
Yes, exactly. If you're talking about like what the celebration says and communicates and is.
Right. So in my mind, I thought Easter egg was something other than, but now I'm understanding like the mechanism is one and the same. Trigger X amount of points or whatever action equals a pop-up that is saying something and is showing an image of something. Therefore, by expressing whatever that moment celebration is.
I
So the
think
Easter egg is the same thing then.
I think so. I think you're pointing out something really important, Iris, is that it's really important for us to define terms of what we're talking
Yeah.
about with all of this. When we when we talk about celebrations, we have a mechanism, a feature, a function in XP called celebrations that is actually its own section, distinct
Mhm.
from what we were talking about here. So when we're
Uh-huh.
talking about the things that you see pop up on the screen, the
Mhm.
animations, the yada yada, that is actually what we call here a celebration, and that
Mhm.
gets programmed in step 6. And you both know exactly what we're talking about there.
Mhm.
We could also simultaneously to a celebration popping up, we could have an automation going on that is doing whatever we want it to do, sending a t-shirt, sending an email, popping up bonus content, which we're working our way closer and closer to, Susan. So when we say celebration, um, sometimes we're speaking generally, and sometimes we're speaking specifically about this mechanism right here, which is in step 6.
Mhm.
Is this answering what you're saying, Iris? Or confusing you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, I'm getting more and more clear that Easter egg is just a way I use celebrations.
Yes, Easter egg
Right.
can be all of the above. It's a surprise thing that happens in
Right.
a
Right.
cool, unexpected way. So
Right.
mostly you'll do that here and here.
Right. Okay.
I'm going to show you super quick that when we're setting up our content in step 3
Hmm.
and we're creating actions,
Hmm.
we could also add a tag when they check off a particular action.
Oh, yes.
So that is another thing you were looking for, Iris, about what if they only have to do 2.
Mhm.
The simple way, if they only need to do 2 actions, would be make them XPs versus XXPs, but
Mhm.
you could also add a tag when they check it off.
Yes.
So, with all that, let's talk about revealing content. There's a way that I'm going to start with. I'm going to start with showing you the way that is going to be useful for what Susan is talking about, which is they do something and something appears on that screen, like new content, a button to click to get a bonus. Basically, your students are on a page. When they check off an action, you want something new to appear on that page, right? So if we go into step 4, and we're going to think about where we want that new content to suddenly appear. It might be on the home page. It might be on the single training page, because that's literally where they are when they are watching a training. So if I'm your student, I'm sitting here and I'm going through the course. When I'm actually on like training 3, I'm watching it on this page. So maybe as soon as they finish and click off training 3, I want something new and surprising to appear on this page, which again could be whatever I want. It could be a chunk of content. It could be a button that says click here because you just got a bonus. So click here to access it. But whatever it is, I'm going to go to the page where I want the surprise content to appear. And I'm going to create a block on this page that is only going to appear when I tell the block to appear. Right? So let's go ahead and grab a block of, let's say it's going to be a button that pops up and says, congrats, you just got a new bonus, click to access it. If I want to block a block with a button, I'm going to go into text and images, and I'm going to find a block with a button. And let's see, where do I want it on the page? Probably right underneath the training action that they clicked before they get the surprise. So now I've got a block here that I can customize. I'm going to customize it and say, congrats, and I'm going to use their name by using a token. And then I'm going to say, and then I'm going to go to my button. And I'm going to put the link of wherever I am having them go to get their bonus content. And this doesn't need to be too complicated because it might be just a different page in my course. Let's say it's on a custom page I created called Journal, because I want them to start journaling now.
Can I interrupt and ask a question here?
Yeah.
I have a 2-page PDF and I uploaded it to my media gallery. So will that work to put it in from there? Like in the
Let
example
me
you're showing, could
think.
you add
To give
the
them a
bonus could be
PDF.
something that's in the media gallery that they need
So
to
you want them
download?
to download a thing. Well, here is one option, depending on the setup of your course. If this is like a small contained course, like a challenge thing or a quick thing, and if you're not giving out lots of other bonuses, other PDFs,
Yeah, I'm not.
then this is the easy way I would do that, Susan. I would make your downloads block be the one that's going to automatically appear.
Okay,
And instead of saying click the button, I'm going to remove the button in your case. And I'm just going to say, I'm going to make it really clear, click to access it. And I'm going to use some emojis or something to, yeah, I'm going to want like some arrows here, like saying pointing. So it's really, really, really obvious. Where's my Okay, so instead of having a button, I'm going to be pointing to a download right here. And in your case,
oh, okay.
Susan, the
So
block,
it's still a button, but it's a download button
exactly,
specifically as opposed to,
exactly, yeah. I
okay,
think that's going to be like the simplest way. In
okay,
your case, you can also link this button wherever you want. You can link it to wherever it's hosted. But if you want
okay,
to host it directly in XP, the easiest way, I think, would just be to use the download button.
okay.
So we've got how to do that. And should we look at how to make this block appear and disappear now, or questions before we look at how to make the block?
No, I think that made sense to me as you were explaining it to Iris,
Okay.
that if they submit the feedback that I'm asking for, and then they're going to click off the action that they did that should be able to make this new block appear and to get the download.
Yes. So
Got it.
should we go
So,
through, let's go through how to make the block appear or something else while we're here,
yeah,
Iris?
just a quick question. I just missed what is the block with the downloadable worksheet and notes? What
Oh,
is that
great.
block called?
Great, great,
Because
great.
I
Thank
missed
you.
it how you added it.
No,
This
you're
one, yeah.
absolutely right. I didn't actually add this one because it was here by default on the single training
Ah, okay.
page. But if you need to add it, that's a great question. because it's not that easy to find. It's in training contents.
Training contents.
See it right here. So it's
Yes,
it's in
yes,
training
yes.
contents because it's like usually used as part of the core training,
Got
like
it.
you upload it,
Got
and
it.
you would need to upload the download in step 3. Let me
Okay.
think about this really quick. Yeah, and it would just be, keep in mind it's going to be associated with a particular lesson,
Hmm, hmm,
right? But we're
hmm.
talking about in Susan's example, we're talking about like a very contained course where maybe they just have a couple of 2 or 3 lessons to go through, and so this block is not actually appearing until the moment that we want them to download something. And I'm just making that
Right.
distinction because in a longer course, you would want this block appearing regularly if they're downloading things
Right.
regularly. But you're talking
Right.
about something real specific,
Yeah.
right?
Okay. And just one other question. In the welcome block with the button, is there a way that that button could link to the same page, another block at the bottom? For example, I got a lot of comments
Like an anchor link.
yeah, when I sent out the order page
Uh-huh.
and the purchase was at the bottom. And I
Mm-hmm,
got quite a
mm-hmm.
few comments that said, can you put a button at the top so that we could just go right straight to it? That they don't want to read through my order
Totally,
page, you know?
totally, totally.
So I couldn't
Totally.
find how to
Yeah.
do that.
There's not an anchor link option. There might be a CSS option to do that I don't know off the top of my head, but I would suggest making it simpler. Here's the simple native ways to do it are one, you could use a different page for your sales page than your order form and just have the order form be one block that they click to. So they read and go through all the stuff on the sales page that's long. And whenever they're ready, whenever they're like, yeah, enough already, take my money, then they just click to go straight to the order form page, which is only one block. It's not a whole thing to read down, or it's at the top with optional stuff underneath. So that would be the quickest way I would suggest is rather than using the order form actually as your long form sales page, just use a separate sales page as your whole sales page and put multiple options for them to click whenever they're ready to go straight to the block. So just instead of going here to here, they're going here to here. It's not really going to be uh
Okay, so do you mean using like a Go Plus lead page? Is that
no,
what
you
you
could
mean?
do
Like
that
an
too, but
external one?
nope. I'm talking about actually creating a sales page in XP, which is super easy. You just make it as a custom page.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that. But
Yeah.
isn't that the same functions here? Like how would you have a button to actually take you to the purchase or wherever down the page, right? The idea is like you're in a long page and you just want to kind of go through different blocks of it with through the
Totally get it.
buttons.
Totally get it. Yeah, and there isn't a native function for a button to take you down the page, but it
Hmm.
can take you to a different page, which is
I
going
see
to
what you
be
mean,
like
right?
it's not really
Hmm.
that different of an experience for the student at the end of the day, like,
Okay,
right?
but it's flipping windows. I mean, it's
Exactly.
flipping pages.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so the button can only link to an internal other page or an external anything link.
Exactly. It doesn't natively go down, do like an anchor text and drop down. And again,
Wow,
I
that's
don't,
weird.
there might be, you could probably do it with CSS if you know how to do that, but I'm going to suggest don't get
No, I'm
complicated
not.
if you
I'm
know how to
not
do it.
that techie.
Yeah.
I'm not that techie. I love tech, but I like the
Like,
user-friendly
yes,
interface
yes,
tech.
yes, yes. Yeah, so I would do that with
Okay.
just do it on a separate page. Um,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, so we have our block or blocks that we want to appear at a particular moment in time. And now I'm going to go ahead and set up both of these blocks because in Susan's example, we want both of them to appear. And to make them visible at a certain time, we're going to customize the visibility by clicking Edit Content and going over here to Block Visibility.
Mhm.
And I'm going to open this up, and I've got options for when to show this block. Always, never, if I'm just pausing it for a while or don't want to delete it, but I'm not using it at the moment. Or between dates and times. So the first option I have is when. And before I go more into that, the second option I have is to who. Everyone, or show it or hide it to people with tags. And this is what you're looking for, Susan. So this block can automatically appear or disappear based on tags. And as we saw, there's infinite ways to give people tags. Go ahead, Susan.
And so with the time, I would just make it always available, but it's only going to be
Exactly.
available to people who get that tag.
Exactly. Yeah. And again, they could get the tag by completing a specific action, which you can do in step 3 by saying as soon as they complete this exact action, they get a tag. Or I can set up whatever I want in step 5, pretty much. When this combination of things happens, when they get this many points, when they complete training 2, then they get a tag, which makes all this appear. Let's say it was to people with our 20 points tag that we just set up. Once I've done that, you'll notice that from my edit preview mode, when I hover over this block now, as opposed to the others, I've got this little eye icon here, and it says showing to points with tag 20 points. So that's just to help me as I'm setting up my page and remembering, oh yeah. So I would want to do the same thing with this block. And now both of these are going to appear, in this case, when 20 points happens, or I could set it up based on whatever causes the tag. How we doing?
Oh, just a quick question. Does then
Yeah.
the button, the blue button, click here, does that serve a purpose if the downloadable bonus is right below it?
In Susan's example she just gave, we wouldn't need the button. We would remove that. That's just there
Right.
if you're wanting to use the button to take them to a different page where
Right,
they
right, right.
view
But if
something.
you want to just give them the downloadable, then obviously the button wouldn't need to be there. I got it.
Right. If this works for you, then I would get rid of the button by editing the layout of the block.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm going to click on that one. I'm going to open up column 1, and I'm just going to delete my button.
Okay. And just another question on the visibility, blog visibility. So on the option when for date and time,
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to kind of understand
Yeah.
logically, like when would
Right.
that be?
Right. I know
Uh,
that's a funny one to get the head around. So there's 2 ways you could set it up, and it's going to depend
mhm,
on how you've set up your course. Is your course based on certain dates that everybody goes through
mhm,
together, or is it an evergreen thing that people go
mhm,
through
mhm.
on their own time? If it's based on certain dates, you would literally plug in the dates. You can do this for a special
Mhm, mhm.
offer, a limited time thing,
Right.
promo. And you
So,
can do it,
right.
you can do the same thing if it's evergreen and people are going on their own time frame. And this is based on when they joined the course.
Mm,
Or leave it blank if there's no end date.
mhm.
oops, I didn't. Let's take this to always. Oh wait, no, I wanted between dates and times. Let's just see what that looks like from day 3, and I'm going to leave it blank for no end date. So now this is showing this block from day 3 of enrollment onward. Or I could put an end date on it, or I could make it based on a certain calendar date.
Got it. And so if for example, my idea is to launch a 3-month program this year, and I want it to be a cohort based. So it's going to have defined dates, right? We start this day, we move this date. So let's say I have, this first level launch, but then I want to make the course available evergreen for whoever, right? I can launch it several times as evergreen or as cohort based. If I want to move from, fixed time to evergreen, then I would have to go in and change all of this automations that I would set up for specific times, right? So would it make more sense if the objective is to use this course eventually as evergreen, would it make more sense to set everything up based on like rolling tags rather than specific dates?
Great question. That is going to be dependent on specifics and nuances of your own setup and
Okay.
goals. But you might want to just duplicate the course and have one for the date-based cohort and one for the evergreen people. Another option, if you're going to be doing things regularly and thinking long term, is that this is what Marisa and EPM World do in their cohorts. I think is there's the date-based cohort, and then there are alumni courses. So rather than like making multiple duplicates, once they finish the time-bound course, you can be like, congratulations, you're graduating to the alumni course, you're now moving over here. And yes, they will lose their points if you take them out of that course, but that doesn't need to make anybody sad if you give them a whole bunch of new bonuses for going to the new place. So basically, you can use the date-based one if you want to do it this way. This is a little different than what you were asking, Iris, but I just want to give this as an option. You can give the date-based one as the immediate path through, and then have a broader alumni course that everybody joins in that is going to be set up for the purpose of like ongoing nurturing or just an ongoing community. So just throwing that into the mix. But to go back more specifically to what you asked, Iris, will it be better to set it up as rolling dates? It depends. But if you are, and honestly, some of this you're probably gonna work out and realize as you are making your course. So my gut sense for what you're asking is maybe to make one and duplicate it, and then you have your first course that you can get set up exactly as you need. Duplicate it,
Got it.
have the trainings ready, change what you need to change.
Right. Okay, makes sense.
Cool.
And just a final question on here while we're at it. So if the bonus is a PDF, I understand it. If the bonus is a video, right? And I guess that could be like a link or an embedded, or like what are the options? Like how can you what I guess my brain is just thinking like, okay, what are the other options of the kinds of bonuses? Could it be like a whole other training since the button is linking to another page, right? So would it link to another training page?
Could do that, absolutely. Button could link to another page. If you want a video right in this block, we're going to edit the layout of the block, and we're going to add a video. I'm going to save it. So notice that I just added it in my layout content. I'm sorry, in my edit layout. And then I'm going to go to edit content and actually add in that. Oh, wait. Did I miss you? You know what? I might have told you something wrong on that, Iris. Okay. Forget the last 30 seconds because this page is behaving in a specific way because we're on the single training page. So
Mhm.
what this page does is it populates videos from step 3.
Right, right.
So if you were doing what we're doing here on the home page, you could just pop a video in here just to give you possibilities and how to think about it. But in this case, if you want a video to pop up as the surprise, if you want a video as the surprise thing, since we're already on the single training page, then I think, how do I want to do this? The
It
simplest
would
way
be
is going
like
to be
an
take them to
action.
a custom page. What's that? Go ahead.
Okay. Could it be like the action?
Say more.
For example, the way
Oh,
I
in the
have learned,
action.
yeah, there was one out of the actions, one action is to embed a video. So
Right,
that's in
right.
one of my actions.
Um,
But then you can't make just one
that's
action invisible, right?
exactly. That's where this is getting kind of weird because we're
Mhm.
making blocks pop up on a page that is designed to be a single training page. So it's going to operate a little
Okay.
differently. So I want you to take everything we've done
Mhm.
today and keep in mind that you can do
Mhm.
this on the home page of your course.
Mhm.
And I'm just going to say it this way, some things will make more sense to do there.
Mhm.
And if you want to make a video pop up, you should do that. Do everything we've been talking about today, but put it on the homepage of your course instead of on the single training page.
Okay, so that as they're going through the training, if the bonus is somewhere in between, wherever we
Mhm.
trigger, we want the bonus to show up in the homepage. That's what you're saying, better than the training itself, the single page.
Um, Sorry, I think I made something more confusing than it needs to be. What I want you to think about is that everything we've been doing as far as um, making blocks appear and disappear could be done on the home page as well as the single training page. And
Mhm.
yes, there's going to be a little bit more flexibility on the home page because this page works in specific ways. Does that make sense?
Yes, but if you want the bonus to show up on day 3, let's say,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? Because this was the logic that we started here. If we wanted to
Mm-hmm.
show up on day 3,
Mm-hmm.
then you would want to do it on a single training page where we are right now.
If it depends on what you mean by the bonus. If
Mhm.
we're talking about a video, then I believe that's going to need to go on the home page, or you
Okay.
can link to another page.
Okay. Because in the single training, there's no way to add a block that will show up a video
Exactly.
in YouTube or mhm,
That's the piece I forgot about as I was demoing this on the single training page as a place to show it. There isn't a
mhm,
way to make a video block appear because video blocks here are designed to
mhm,
populate
mhm.
from step 3 because that's what this page is specifically for. Is there a
Got
way
it.
to do a
And
YouTube link? Maybe. You can definitely take a button to YouTube, but I don't think
right.
embedding it is going to work.
Okay, so in the case that wherever the bonus is outside of this, it will be a button outside of here. Just another question. So if the bonus shows up in day 3 and you add it here in the single training, the way you just did right now, PDF or a button to link
Mhm.
somewhere else, but you're adding it to the single training page, does that mean that after day 3, this bonus is going to show up on every other training?
This block will show up as long as this block is designed by you to show up.
Right. So in the case that you showed, Susan, where you leave it always, and for
Mm-hmm.
students who have this tag, then
Mm-hmm.
these students, the moment that this shows up on day 3, it will keep showing up on training 4, training 5, on every other basic training. It will
Exactly.
always be there.
Exactly. Because I set it
Mhm.
to day 3 onward.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can use the limited date if you wanted to show up just on day 3.
Exactly.
Right? It's just here, but if you go to day 4, it's not going to show up anymore. Then you could put the
Right.
time
Or do a new
from
one
and
for
to.
day 4. Do a different block, different bonus. Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome. Fantastic questions. I gotta jump. You guys are awesome. Thank you for all of the great stuff. Hope that this clarified more than it confused and gives you something to do. Let me know how it goes. Let me know what's happening.
Yeah, I
Great.
definitely learned a lot, but I'll have to
Awesome.
probably watch the replay again to refresh it all. So
Yeah, no worries. It'll be here.
thank
All
you.
right. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Have
Thank
a
you,
great
Rachel.
Bye-bye.
rest of
Thank you,
your day.
Susan. Bye, guys.
Ciao.